Good afternoon, board, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian. I'm here with Arthi, Ahmed, Max, Brittany, and Leo. We are here because the airport represents an economic impact in our region and is truly critical. However, in order to ensure its long-term viability, it must eliminate its $2.8 million operating deficit. It can accomplish this either by cutting costs and saving or investing in projects. Yet, as one local executive recognizes, you cannot save your way to greatness. So we will be recommending 4 investment initiatives to you today. As we consider different alternatives, we always kept in mind the impact to the taxpayer, preferring projects which returned their investment quickly without a significant initial investment. It was also important that these generate sustainable sources of revenue and that they align with the region's mission. So the 4 recommendations we have for you today are that you create an airline to serve the demand in the region, that you engage in marketing activities to bolster the appearance of the airport in the region. Thirdly, that you work with the Stratford Festival to help increase the attendance and passengers on your Chicago to Waterloo flight and ensure international connectivity through that. And finally, that you diversify your revenue sources by providing event hosting services.
So our first key initiative is to start your own airline, which we will call it the Waterloo Air. The airline will be consisting of a daily return flight to Vancouver and will be operated by a single medium-sized plane. So why start your own airline? Well, first of all, there is a well-established demand from the Waterloo region to Vancouver, and according to your company's information, there are approximately 100,000 inbound and outbound travelers between the 2 regions each year. So with all these other airlines are unwilling to schedule an additional flight simply because they have to drop off one of their other flights for it, it is reasonable for you to create your own supply in order to satisfy these uncaptured demand. Moreover, it seems like investing in an airline business would be a risky project, but that's not necessarily true if you look closely into it. First of all, instead of owning an airplane, it is more reasonable for you to lease an airplane since you will minimize the risk for this initiative. Also, lease only requires a small amount of capital compared to if you have to invest a huge amount of money to buy an airplane. And you can also terminate your lease if something later goes wrong with the airline, and which will be much easier to do compared to if you have to resell your airplane. And lastly, as Brian mentioned, you will also ease off on the taxpayer's burden. So after a detailed calculation around the whole airline operation, we estimated that you will only take a load factor of 53% to break even on this project. And with a load factor of 61%, the Waterloo Air will be able to generate approximately of $3 million in profit, which will be achieved in its first full year of operation, which will be in 2015. And lastly, with an average load factor of 80%, you will be able to generate an additional profit of $10 million solely from the Waterloo Air.
So for our marketing initiative, we thought, who is the perfect target market for the airport? And to demonstrate, we would like you to meet Joe. Joe is about 40 years old and has an average household income of around $90,000 and a busy lifestyle. He works hard Monday to Friday and spends his weekends spending time with the kids or playing golf with his buddies. Joe also has quite a bit of family in Vancouver and is looking for a way to visit them that is both convenient and time-saving. Joe is part of our target market that we like to call the Visiting Friends and Relatives segment, or VFRs for short. This target market is attractive because they travel regularly throughout the year in order to visit loved ones. Geographically, they're located in the region of Waterloo, and being so close to the airport along with the low wait times makes it a better option than traveling to the Pearson or London airports. Demographically, they're aged 25 to 40, and these working professionals generate a wealthy income of over $80,000 per house. They are searching for a convenient, low-stress travel option based on value and time savings. So the airport should emphasize that the extra cost in the flights in comparison to other airports is actually compensated for by the additional service and convenience that they're receiving. In addition, some of these VFRs may be unaware that the airport exists, yet it's designed to meet their needs of convenience and time savings. So by focusing on this group, the airport actually stands to gain the most passengers. Now the next question is, how do we reach Joe? Well, we thought, why not target Joe directly at home? And an effective way to do this is through direct mailouts. These mailouts will include information on the benefits of the airport to them, as well as information on a Facebook contest in which they can enter to win a seat on Waterloo Air's first flight to Vancouver. With 44,500 households in this target market, by sending this mail out twice a month, it'll serve as a gentle yet constant reminder of the airport's existence. Now another way to target Joe is on his way to work. VFRs commute to work as part of their daily routine, so bus shelter advertising can be used to gain their attention by placing the ads on the routes most traveled by the VFRs.
So how do we keep Joe coming back to the airport? With an increased number of Canadians on social media sites, it is important for your company to have a strong online presence and keep the airport on top of consumers' minds. We propose you do so by having frequent posts on promotional items, as well as the benefits that your company offers to consumers. As Artie just mentioned, the VFRs travel frequently throughout the year. By implementing a loyalty program, you will be able to attract consumers who are willing to come back to the airport, earn those points, and be able to redeem them in the future for discounts on food and flights on Waterloo Air. We believe that you should continue with your grassroots approach on sponsoring local events. To ensure that these event goers do recognize that the airport is the sponsor, we believe that you should redesign your logo to create a more visual distinction between yourself and the region of Waterloo. The Chicago to Waterloo flight is important due to its global connectivity. With the compensation to American Airlines ending this year, the airline may decide to cancel the flight because of low profitability. In order to increase the passengers to this route and therefore increase the profits to American Airlines, we propose targeting the visitors to the Stratford Festival. The festival runs from May to October and attracts between 500 to 700,000 guests each year, 6% of which are from Chicago and an additional 16% from other cities within the United States. So how should you attract these visitors? We believe that you should create a collaborative relationship with the following companies. First, you should inform the Stratford Festival of the American Airlines flight, and then work with them to inform their guests through their website as well as an email campaign. And then you should work with a shuttle company such as Air Coach Lines in order to create a route between the airport and various hotels in Stratford. And lastly, you should create an advertising campaign along with American Airlines to promote the flight and the shuttle as the most convenient full-service transportation from Chicago to Stratford Festival. This will be most attractive to consumers who are looking for the convenience not offered by other airports.
Finally, our last proposed initiative, using the airport as a venue to host a variety of different events. We believe this is a really outside-the-box approach and can really differentiate your company from competition and the traditional airport. Airports operate in a very unstable and complex environment with lots of uncertainty surrounding it. This has a direct effect on demand, supply, and profits. In times of economic hardship, demand for flights fluctuate, and an airline can go as far as actually pulling a daily flight from your company, and this could result in less revenue and operating deficit. In times of this, you need something to fall back on that's not affected by that same external element, and can actually bring in a source of revenue that can at minimum help your company break even. We believe a venue has more than enough potential to do this. In addition, a venue is more than just another source of revenue, but also a marketing tool. It can create awareness about the airport, as well as increase demand for future flights. One of the largest problems outlined was people just are unaware about the airport in the region. By hosting events at an airport, two scenarios arise. A, people hear about an event at the airport, or B, people actually go to an event at the airport. In either case, you now have a large supply of people who actually know about an airport in the region. And with various events held throughout the year, you keep a constant reminder and keeps the airport top of mind when people are booking their next flight. In addition, we believe a venue would add value to your company by maximizing the utilization of all your idle resources. Regional Chair Ken Sealing was quoted saying, "We want to run like a business." Well, a successful business runs by maximizing its potential and profit by utilizing all its resources. With over 25 acres of available land and empty hangars and facilities, you can put these to use as a venue and bring in an extra stream of revenue by hosting a variety of events. But before we go any further, I want to answer a question I think everyone in the room is probably thinking. What kind of events can be held in an airport? Well, the region of Waterloo is unofficially known as the research development capital of Ontario, with multiple conferences held all year long, some even as large as TEDx. TEDx has huge national and international reach. By holding this conference at your airport, you're bringing huge promotional awareness and increasing traffic with people landing in the airport